Hey, tennis fans, you are listening to Matchpoint Canada, Canada's premier tennis podcast. I'm Ben Lewis, and as we record now, we are recapping, looking back at the National Bank Open in our cities, Toronto and Montreal. Officially a wrap on our home event, and so happy to welcome on award-winning journalist, friend of the show, Arash Madani, to break it all down. Arash, great to see you. Thanks for making the time.
You got it, man. It's weird when it's all over, isn't it?
I know it certainly is, and look, you and I were both obviously on site in Toronto, and I thought Toronto was a very good tournament, some fun storylines. But let's be honest, we got to start in Quebec and in Montreal, and what Victoria Mboko managed to accomplish over these past 12 days is nothing short of astounding, incredible. She defeats four Grand Slam champions along the route to winning this National Bank Open. Maybe just your thoughts, putting into perspective what she accomplished here. It's incredible.
I mean, just what you said, Ben. Like you say it matter of factly. Oh, by the way, she beat four Grand Slam champions on the way to lifting a trophy as an 18-year-old who began the year ranked 333 in the world and wouldn't have even been in the draw if the tournament was anywhere else but Canada. But because obviously it's her home tournament, she gets the wild card. Loses the first set to one of those Grand Slam champions, doesn't matter. Gets Osaka in the final, lose the first set. I get like at no point in the Ravikant match and early on in the Osaka match, I think she was going to win. But it's just like I think what stands out the most is nothing phases this young woman. Like there's no nerves, it seems like, which see, like I remember interviewing Rafa after whatever one it was. I think maybe 2018 after the final against Tsitsipas.
Mhm.
I think he won the first set 6-1 or 6-2, and then he was serving for it, and he super got tight, and he admitted he got tight. And this is in like 2018. How many majors had he won up until that point? And meanwhile, you have this teenager who doesn't seem to be phased by any of it. It's just like it's all just beyond belief.
Yeah, it's as you said, I mean, Rybakina, and it's not like a tight first set. Rybakina was thoroughly outplaying her in the first set in that semifinal was 6-1. Even earlier in the tournament against Marie Boskova, she dropped a set 6-1 and never rattled, never unsettled.
Yeah.
And the confidence under pressure, I don't know if she is not thinking of the pressure or the circumstances or the moment. You see kind of when she wins these matches, you could read her lips actually after the semifinal. She won and beat Rybakina. I could read her lips and she said, "Is this real life?" But when she is in that present moment, nothing, as you said, seems to phase her. And I mean, I think all of Canada is wondering, like, what is next for this girl?
Yeah. Intelligently, it's not Cincinnati. She's not going to go. You need to take, like, you need to exhale after that. Like, continue to go 100 miles an hour just isn't the play. Top 25 seated at the Open. That's the immediate, but it's more this kind of rocket ship that she's now on, this meteoric rise. Ben, it's interesting. Like, so often in sports, they talk about don't make the moment too big. Treat 2 all, 15 all first set the way you would match point, which is so easier said than done.
Mhm.
I think Mboko actually does. And it's so interesting watching the parents because mom is the best kind of TV you're going to get. Like she's a show in herself,
For sure.
and dad is calm and stoic. And, not until it's all done does he even crack a smile. So, yeah, like there's a little bit of both. There's a lot of mom at the end, and there's a lot of dad during. And we're just starting to find out a little bit about her. But I'll tell you this story, man. I remember 3 years ago, um, she's 15 years old, and Simone LaRose was her coach at the time. And they're in Toronto or wherever they were. Yeah, they'd be in Toronto. And LaRose told a former player, "She's good enough to win this thing right now." Okay, maybe it was a stretch at age 15. Um, but I bet you that if at the start of the tournament somebody said that, people would have scoffed the same way they would have 3 years ago.
Yeah.
And instead, now here's Mboko lifting a trophy and, you know, from 333 to top 25 in 7 months is insanity.
I think about she's won 53 matches this year.
Right.
There's only 52 weeks in a year. You
Yeah.
put that into perspective, and that's obviously across all levels, and, I don't know what the moment was maybe for you if you look into this season where I thought, "Wow, she is the real deal." For me, it was honestly in Miami, not her first round win there, but pushing former world number 2 Paula Badosa to
Yeah.
7-6 in the 3rd, and Badosa was on the Tennis Channel desk, you know, probably an hour later and said, "What an incredible player."
Well, there was
That
something that went viral too. Like she went back to her box and she's like, I just have no answers
Yeah,
for this player right now.
yeah,
To
and
me, for me, it was Wimbledon
okay.
because she loses out in qualies, sneaks back in as a lucky loser, and the next thing you know, round one, she takes down Magdalena Freck, world number 29. I think she was like a 20 seeded 24 or something in the tournament.
Mhm.
You're like, wait a minute, you thought you were gone. You didn't even get through qualies, but it didn't matter. Um, like that was when I was like, because I've been hearing a lot about Mboko, like back in back in the days when I was working on Billie Jean King Cup, in 21 and 22 and 23, they just kept saying, something coming, there's something coming, there's something coming. I'm like, okay, um, it's here.
It is here. And look, you've been around, most, if not all of these kind of big Canadian tennis stories that we've seen these big rises over the past couple of decades. Obviously, we think of Bianca Andreescu winning at the time Rogers Cup 6 years ago.
Yeah.
But for me, she was Bianca when she won that title, it wasn't quite the shock, right? She had already delivered at Indian Wells previously earlier in the season, and she was back from injury, but she had kind of proven
Oh,
herself against
stop it. Stop it. Stop it.
It was still a shock?
It's still a shock. Of course, it was a
Well,
shock.
sure.
It was a
No, no,
shock
okay.
she won Indian Wells. It was a shock she won
Yes, so you're right.
Toronto. It was a shock she won the Open. Come on, Ben.
No, no, you're right, but she wasn't outside the top 300. I mean,
Right.
so putting all of maybe that into perspective of kind of these seminal Canadian moments. You talk about, Billie Jean King Cup title, Davis Cup title for Canada as well, Bianca winning the US Open. Where does Mboko just delivering in Montreal at age 18 rank, or where is it going to be kind of in our brains over some of these historic moments that we've witnessed the past couple decades?
I mean, it's there in the conversation, but to me, nothing beats Bianca winning the Open.
Yeah.
Like a Canadian winning a singles Grand Slam title is just, I just never thought I'd see it in my life.
Hmm.
Like what this is, and this has nothing to do with Mboko. Like what Mboko did is just beyond the realm of whatever. But uh, the Davis Cup was incredible. The Billie Jean King Cup run was magical. Um, but Bianca winning the Open, like I just never thought. I remember when Raonic got to the Wimbledon final, waking up that morning, and I was just trying to think, like, never in my wildest dreams, I think it was like that was even like fathomable, like that even could even happen. And then for Bianca to win it. Um, yeah. So Mboko's there, like it's with the rest of them. It's
Yeah.
with the Bianca. It's with like Bianca winning Toronto or Indian Wells. Like they're all kind of there.
Mhm.
Um, but I just think that if Mboko stays healthy, Whew, watch out. Watch out.
Well, let's talk about the final just a little bit because similar to the semifinal, Naomi Osaka, she's a four-time Grand Slam champion, and she generally plays her best tennis summer hardcourt season as well. And look, she's struggled kind of coming back from pregnancy. We haven't seen that consistent top level for her in quite a while, and it felt like this was sort of the breakthrough tournament where we say she's back, and it's her first final in over 3 years, and she came out super rock solid in this first set. Mboko was probably nervous at the beginning, which is understandable, and kind of finding her footing. But the twists and turns of this match, Mboko just getting herself in it early in the second. And then I thought just the dynamics of this third set towards the end. 1 point for me summarized it all. Osaka gets towards the net. She pushes a soft little drop shot just over in the quarter.
I
Mboko
thought it was
goes.
double bounce, dude. I'll be honest. I thought it was a
You
double
thought it was
bounce.
double bounce?
Yeah.
So,
And
I
then
mean,
saw the
Osaka.
replay and I'm like, oh my God, it isn't.
Yeah. And I think that juxtaposition of Mboko going full stretch to dig out this ball that's, below her ankles, and Osaka didn't move a muscle. And I don't know if Naomi was phased by the moment. It seems Mboko's not phased by any moment. But what do you think happened with Osaka kind of in the final stages of this match? We know she's a great champion, but
Yeah.
she dipped.
I don't know what happened, but it certainly looks like she was rattled. And I don't know what she was rattled by. Like, usually you expect people with the track record of an Osaka, the four slams, to, uh, for the lack of a better phrase, keep it together
Mhm.
better. But maybe what we watched is maybe Mboko got into a bunch of their heads. Like you think about how she got through the semifinal, her opponent there just kept airmailing basic ground strokes long.
Yep.
You think about Coco, she was never in a rhythm. And then and then Osaka was fully in control and in command. And then it all just came apart. So, like, there's a pattern of something here, Ben. I don't know what it is, but it's the same thing. Like, you're watching the finals, lose the first set, and I literally said to our friend Lucas Weiss, I just looked at him and I just said, that doesn't even matter. Like,
Yeah.
you lose the first set of a 1,000 final to a four-time Grand Slam champion with name pedigree, and you're only 18, and it didn't seem to be a factor. In the end, it was. Like, where in real life does that happen?
Yeah. Yeah, look, as a tennis coach, we talk about this sometimes with our players. You lose a set 7-6 or you lose a set 6-love, the score after that set is 1-0. But
Yeah,
it's
but we're all human.
exactly. We're all human. It's very hard to actually mentally digest something, that reality, getting dominated in a set and be able to just reset, completely flip a switch, completely be not whatsoever unsettled by it and find your best tennis, particularly early stages of a second set. And she did that in all of these matches where she came back.
Yeah.
And I guess, yeah, just to wrap on Vicky, I mean, US Open, a few weeks away. Who on earth is gonna wanna face this girl?
Mhm. It's great. Yeah, nobody, right? Like, I don't even know what to say anymore. Like, it was a privilege to watch it. It was memorable. And what I'll always remember from this is the men's final, where middle of a set, middle of a game, both players are on the court, and the crowd in Toronto just erupts, goes absolutely bananas. And Ben Shelton's looking around being like, you know, the fuck? Like, what's happening? Like, comes over
Yeah.
the chair umpire and it's like, just in that moment, it was just joy for everybody. And it was authentic and it was real. And that was the effect that this kid just kind of had on this these whole 2 weeks, and, it was really cool. It was really cool.
The Vicky Mboko effect. We're gonna trademark that one. Let's talk about Toronto because you and I were on site for this event, and I think we're always wanting the Canadian storylines. You hope and wish for it. Maybe at least certainly the fans do. But apart from obviously the early exits from your Denis Shapovalovs and Felix Auger-Aliassimes, I thought the tail end of this tournament, the match quality was high. And American Ben Shelton, I look at the top 10 and the top 20 and think we need guys to challenge Sinner and Alcaraz. And what Shelton accomplished over these 12 days, it tells me he's the one kind of knocking on the door, maybe the most, and he could be the next in line to really start pushing those two.
Maybe, maybe. I I get we exist in a world of narratives. I thought Khachanov was the best player in the tournament
He played
coming
great.
into the final. I thought he was the better player in the final.
Mm.
Um, had the semifinals not gone almost 3 hours and the legs like, fans and butts were candies and nuts, what a Merry Christmas it would
Yeah,
be,
yeah.
I get it. But, it comes down to a coin flip 3rd set tiebreak. So, if Karen wins the tiebreak, are we having this conversation?
Probably in a different way, but
Yeah.
you're right. You're
Yeah.
right.
Um, and I look at Khachanov and I'm saying to myself, I think he's got a better chance of beating Sinner right now at this age than Shelton does right now at this age.
Really?
Yeah, I really believe that. I
Okay.
think he's a lot steadier. I think he's got I don't know if I'm allowed to swear on the show, I already have.
Yeah,
Let's just
yeah,
say
yeah, you have.
he's got a motherfucker to him, Like,
He's a
he's
dog.
he's the middle linebacker that you're terrified to go over the middle against.
Mhm.
And, there's a little more consistency, and I just wanna say this, Ben, and this is like somebody said, because I said this on social media and someone's like, "Oh, like, you're throwing shade at Osaka by saying this." This has nothing to do with that. I give that dude all the credit in the world because he was so professional in that trophy ceremony last night,
Oh, yeah.
and it
Yeah,
went
yeah.
on and on and on, and he must have just been seething because he had that thing won.
He was 2 points away.
Right. And then all the song and dance and hoopla and Shelton, like Shelton apologized to him there's a reason for that. And amidst all of it, Karen kept it together. I think he's a real pro. Um, and I get it's different eras, but goddamn, if Marin Cilic can win a slam, then so can this dude.
Yeah.
I get Sinner and Alcaraz or Sinner and Alcaraz, but yeah.
I think we are obviously I love that we do have this new rivalry in tennis. We were spoiled with the big 3, and it is those 2 in front. Did the tournament lose a bit of its luster, do you think, not having Carlos, not having Yannick join? And maybe this was because of the 12-day format.
Yeah, I think it was a lot of things. I think it was the 12-day format. I think it's because it was so close to Wimbledon. Like, Sinner announced he wasn't coming 8 days after the Wimbledon final.
Yeah.
Um, the calendar's insane. Um, I guess there's going to be an extra week next year between Wimbledon. That'll help. I'm led to believe in 28. The plan now is that it'll go Olympics, then Washington, then Canada, then Cincy. I think that'll help. But look, all the things the players say about the calendar being too long and blah blah blah, that's all true.
Mhm.
Um, if you really like tennis, it was an awesome tournament. If you go to a steakhouse for nothing but the meat, you had yourself a hell of a meal. But if you care about the bricks and the wall and you care about the wine list and you care about the sizzle and how the candles look, it lacked a little bit. And then, like, let's just be real. At some point, these Canadians have to live up to their end of the bargain.
Yep.
It's just like, and I'm a big like, if I could buy stock right now, I'd buy Diallo.
Mm.
And I buy a lot of them. There's so much there. Comfortable in his own skin, bilingual, big game, still incredibly raw with so much left to go, aggressive, okay with the process of I'll lose a match if it means I feel I'm getting better.
Yeah.
Um, but like Dennis and Felix have got to do more, man. Like it's the same old song and dance.
I yeah. I mean, I hate how I almost hate how often we have to talk about it on this show, but it's like, Felix and Dennis, they're 8 and 17 collectively this season at the 1,000 level and at Grand Slams. And it's just, I mean, I'm sounding like a broken record, but it something has to change. And I really think with Felix in particular, and I know Arash, you've spoken to him many times, and I do think that he's a top 10 talent. I don't think you get to world number 6 by accident, and I don't think you produce some of the wins he's produced in his career by accident, being a US Open semifinalist and beating top players, beating Carlos Alcaraz and Davis Cup. Why does he continue to get passive, get tense in these moments? Are they heaping too much pressure on themselves because it's Canada?
No, because it's not just Canada. What was their
Sure.
record? 8 and 17
Yeah.
everywhere else?
Yeah.
I think Felix overthinks things. I really do. Here's the other thing I like about Diallo. I like the fact that he went to college. I like the fact that tennis wasn't like when you go to an SEC school like Kentucky, you're not second fiddle or third fiddle or fourth fiddle. You're like eighth fiddle, okay, as a tennis player. And I get Kentucky's got a great program, and
Yep.
a lot of Canadians are going down there. But like, it's a basketball school, and it's a football school, and it's got a good baseball program. It's in the SEC. I'm assuming Diallo lived in Res. Like, he's a lot more like well-rounded and hasn't been in this kind of tennis cocoon
Mhm.
the entire time. I think that's a big benefit to him. Look at a guy like Shelton. He had a little bit of college experience. I think that's great for him. Shoot, who's the other guy? Cerundolo.
Yep.
Spent a year at South Carolina. Here's a guy from Argentina who goes to Columbia, South Carolina, and it's worked out for him. I am baffled at the Felix thing. I am baffled. Like I tell you about, I buy stock in Yellow now. I would have lost my shirt on Felix stock because I would have invested everything into him at 15 years old,
Yep.
expecting a much bigger return by now.
Yeah. Absolutely. Look, you spoke to Gab, I know, ahead of this tournament. Maybe just your thoughts on his mentality, and it's interesting for me because I would have spoken to him a couple of years ago when he got his first main draw win over Dan Evans here in
Yeah.
Toronto, and at that time, really everything was new. He was kind of on the cusp of top 200 and working his way up, and you just look at this really steady ascension all season long and across all surfaces. I think you nailed it on the head. He seems really comfortable in his own skin and with the way he plays.
Yeah. Yeah. And one of the interesting things that he talked about was he said, I'm gonna play aggressive and I probably lost a lot of matches because of that style, but I probably don't have the ranking I do now if I wasn't committed to it. And I think there's just so much more to go. Now, I want to tell you a couple of things. I can't remember the last time I saw a player that pissed after losing a third round match like he
Mm.
was. He was furious at himself, how shitty he played, how he didn't deliver in that moment, et cetera, et cetera. And I'm like, man, this is great. Here's a dude being accountable, staying accountable, matters to him, he cares. I was told he went after the first cool down, went into the gym on that top floor, and when he walked in, just smashed his racket upstairs in the fitness area. This
Wow.
this is important to him. This matters to him. He's setting a high standard for himself. You know, he's a little like Tennis Canada's still helping him out, but he's out of pocket with members of his team. Like his coach, Marty Larondo, I think is like a 46, 47 week on the road kind of guy. Like they are all in on this.
They are.
And like he is so far from a finished product right now. And I think that's what makes him so intriguing, so exciting, especially with how athletic he is, how intelligent he is, how much game he has. His body's kind of like an elastic. Like he's got the kind of body type that can probably stay healthy for a while, which is the name of the game.
Yeah. He's really agile for someone who's what, 6'8"
Yeah.
and nimble. Couple more thoughts. You also spoke with Alex Dimmenauer. He's one of these just ultimate competitors. I know he's been somewhat outspoken at times with length of schedule. I was so impressed by his ability. You think of how many matches he's logged this season, how much tennis he's played. He wins Washington the previous week going into Toronto and just guts out victories and finds his way in another quarterfinal. What were a couple takeaways you had from speaking with Demon and his mentality and where he thinks he can go on the
Um,
circuit?
that I can't be consumed by tennis 24/7 anymore because he absolutely hit a wall after the French Open and suffered burnout and is like,
Yeah.
this is just unsustainable. I can't keep looking at the my ranking and what that number says because it's going to drive me crazy. So much of that is out of my control. I can't keep checking what other guys are doing and how that's going to affect ranking because it's just crazy. Uh, when I wake up in the morning, I'm not going to think about tennis. I'm going to go find a cool coffee shop in whatever city I'm in. I'm gonna go for a walk around the city I'm in, not just hang out at the hotel. Um, if I have a night off, I'm gonna go out for dinner, either by myself or with my team or somebody. Um, and creating that separation, I think, is really going to help him mentally. I think it's going to really help him on the tennis court. I was telling him Ben a story about our buddy Teoscar Hernandez.
Hmm.
I remember Teo, I think in 2021 or 2022, whatever year he had that, big breakout season. I'm like, dude, what's gotten into you? And he said, when I leave the stadium, I now stop thinking about baseball. I go be a husband, I go be a father, I go be a teammate, I go, whatever. And then it's not until I come back to work I start thinking about work. So he'll show up, 2 in the afternoon for a 7 o'clock ball game. He's in work mode. And separating church from state really helped Teo. And I told Demonor about that. And he's like, absolutely. He's like, you need that. Because otherwise it just becomes all consuming. And so that's changed a lot for him this year. And he's like, look, I don't have to check the rankings because I know I'm a top 10 player. I know I can ball. And I don't need to put added pressure on myself. And I've just kind of changed my mindset and my priorities. Awesome.
Amazing. Really, really smart.
Yeah.
And yeah, he's one of those guys I always root for. As we wrap, any other takeaways you had from Toronto across the 12 days? We had Liam Draxel pushing Carreño Busta 3 sets and getting close to a main draw win. Alexi Galarneau getting probably one of the biggest wins of his career. What were a
The
couple other
biggest win.
storylines?
The
Yeah,
biggest one.
let's call it the biggest win for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. That one was great. Seeing his family, how much it meant to them, how badly Alexi wanted it. First ATP tour win comes out of 1,000
Mhm.
in your home country. You try not to say that's the validation for the work, but I thought that was good. That was a great kind of Canadian moment, if you will. Um, do what? Yeah, I mean, just like on the side, I know we get like this is a tennis podcast, getting into the weeds, whatever. I just thought the vibe of the tournament was awesome this year. Like, now that I'm not on the broadcast anymore, I spent a lot more time on the grounds. I spent a lot more time kind of going around, like it was really cool for me, like doing tennis talks with like Andy Roddick and Arthur Feast, some of these corporate things with Khachanov and Cerundolo and Demonor and blah blah blah, like on and on it went. Um, it's such a great I tell people all the time it's a great spectator event. I thought with the expansion to 12 days, there were more even activations, there were more things to do. I thought that was great. Um, it, I guess the signature moment for me though, the tournament was when the crowd just went crazy when Mboko won in Montreal and it stopped a 1,000 final and everybody there was like just such joy. I think that was just spectacular. And I think Shelton didn't know what was going on. I think Khachanov knew exactly what was going on. But what I appreciated is that neither were bothered by it. Like they understood all of it. So yeah, it was a good 12 days. And congratulations to Mboko. Congratulations to Montreal.
Yep.
That crowd in Montreal, then, like it's
Oh my
awesome.
goodness.
So yeah.
It's it's that's true Canadian moment this past week and a half for what Vicky did. Arash, it's always great to catch up with you on the podcast. It had been too long. It was awesome seeing you in Toronto as well. Thanks for all your incredible coverage, and we'll have to touch base again down the line. We got a hit as well. Get out on the court for sure.
You can kick my ass yet again, Lewis. Yeah,
Anytime, buddy. All right. Cheers. Guys, you've been listening to Matchpoint Canada. We will talk to you next time. Thank you guys so much for watching us at Matchpoint Canada. If you like our work, follow along, hit the subscribe button below.